Boys, we finally made it. 2K24, the Spurs MyNBA series. I'm legitimately so excited. I cannot wait to use Vic in this save. So with that said, let's hop into it and check out the team. Righty boys, here we are. But just before we get started, I really wanted to say thank you. Huge shout out to all of you guys that have been supporting the videos up until this point, and all the newcomers, hopefully, that would like to join the channel this year. I really appreciate every one of you. With that said, I don't expect a like or a sub, but I would really appreciate it if you do go on to enjoy, and if you want to stick around for the rest of the Spurs series. You guys mean the world to me. So let's get into it. So you guys might have seen in the content planner, this is one of two longer term series. I plan on doing this in the Earth 2 NBA series, which is going to be, we start back in the 80s and rework some things, use random draft classes, etc. Now I am super excited to do this series, guys. You've got no idea. This is probably the most hype I've been for a series slash video since I started this. And it is all because of this guy right here, Victor Wembanyama. Now, the first things first, we're going to go through the roster and all that fun stuff. But before we do, they've got him listed at 6'4", and a part of me is just a little bit OCD, but also I just like things to be right. And I guess it's more exciting if he is that 7'5" mythical, small forward type of player. I think he's listed at 7'5" in shoes, which that was a whole thing. I remember they changed all the heights, but realistically, he's not playing barefoot. So he's 7'5". We're going to make that change. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now you can see he's listed as a center power forward. I would like to actually play him at small forward at some point in this series. So we'll just see what direction that goes in. Obviously, I'm not going to make him small forward and then have Zach Collins next to, Jeremy Sohan. So we'll see. But I did want to quickly go through his player card. We know he's an 84 overall, extremely high for a rookie. But I do want to see, because a lot of times that doesn't mean anything, because some of these stats are, I guess, artificial. So we'll go ahead and see what he's actually got. So a 77 driving layup, that's reasonable. 80 standing dunk, that could be a little higher, but that's fine. He's a rookie. 75 driving, not bad. 84 close, 81 midi, 77 3. Now, I've only seen a few games of him, so don't quote me, but I feel like you could maybe switch the mid-range and the three-pointer, but I guess it makes sense, mid-range, closer, whatever. 82 free throw looks good. 79 post-hook, post-fade, post-control, 79. His draw foul's at a 56. We'll have to see how that goes in the actual NBA. He's quite skinny, but at the same time, he's very tall and long. Pause, I know, but... So you would imagine that could be high, particularly at his position average. That's a 70, so 90. This is a fake stat. Shot IQ doesn't really matter. I mean, in sim, I guess, but whatever. 68 pass accuracy, fine with that. 70 ball handle. I mean, he is 7'4", 7'5". 64 speed with ball, so it's a very 2K sort of build. But in the videos I've done already, and from what I've seen, he does very quickly become a monster. So we're banking on that. 98 hands, that's whatever. Pass IQ is a 68. 51 passing vision, so he's not actually going to be making any passes. 70 offensive consistency. That could hurt him a little bit. 82 interior, 45 perimeter. I feel like he's better of a perimeter defender than that, right? Am I crazy? 54 steal, you could even probably switch those. I mean, that should be at least a 50, I feel like, but that might be a little too crazy. That'd probably make him an 85 overall. That's why they didn't want to do it. We got a 90 block. That looks good. 71 offensive, 82 defensive, 44 lat quickness. That's a little bit hurtful. And then help defense, IQ, pass perception. Defensive consistency, though, is at an 85. That's sweet. 66 speed acceleration. Could probably make that a 70. 57 strength, just because he's so skinny. About a 70 vertical, 97. There's that fake stat, 98, 80, and an A-. 89 durability. Okay, so that all looks pretty good. B-3, so he's above average in the shooting and the soft touch sort of stuff. Let's see, they got his shot tendency at an 85. I'm going to make that a 99 as well, just so it can really develop him. Personality badges, he's got Alpha Dog, Media Ringmaster. Okay, I guess he's from France, the Metropolitans. Unpredictable, I don't know about that. I feel like 2K just chucks those on. Aerial Wizard makes sense. Anchor makes sense. Catch and shoot makes sense. Chase down artist, post lockdown, rise up. All makes sense. Could probably give him a couple of ball handling badges. I don't know why his last year is at $42 million on that salary. That I feel like is definitely a glitch because he is on his rookie deal. But in any case, let's go ahead and just quickly make his shot tendency a 99, not 100. I don't actually know if that affects anything. And then his touches, we can go at about a 90. So that is the elephant in the room. That is what we plan to do with Vic. Now, moving on. Devin Vassell, a fine young player. I do like his game. I think he's going to get a lot more attention in this coming season, definitely, because people are going to be watching the Spurs. So people might come around a little bit. That said, in our universe, I'm not 100% worried about him necessarily being, you know, that guy there long term. So if he does work out, that's fine. It'll probably be we keep either one of Devin or Keldon, not necessarily both. It might come to later down the line trading one of them. Trey Jones for now is a fine point guard. I mean, he's pretty good in real life, but you can see in 2K, this always happens. He'll shoot around 40-ish% from the field. We'll see if it's the same this year, obviously. And around the low 20s from 3, which, I mean, yeah, but also I don't want a point guard like that. So if we do have a high pick in this draft, I would not be opposed, obviously, to drafting one of those young stud point guards. Zach Collins, probably not going to bring him back after this season, to be perfectly honest. So he's on a 1 year. Is there an option on that? There's not. So he's on a 7-7. Unless we get him back cheap as a backup center, not too worried. He's still only 25 though, so if we can get him on a cheap deal. Jeremy, I do want to keep. I would like to keep him as a 4 or a 3 next to Vic. Just depends what we want to do with that. Branham, another guy I've had in 2K before. He ends up being a decent bench piece. Usually nothing too crazy though, so if that's neither here nor there, he can stay, he can go. Reggie Bullock, not interested in bringing back. He honestly might even be a guy we try to move at the deadline just for a cheap pick. Basically, he's on the last year of his deal. He can probably help a contending team. Campaign as well, same sort of thing. Decent backup, same with Vontae. But all of these guys, if we do get to the deadline and there's a team that makes sense for them, we'll probably move them. Charles Bassey, actually don't mind him, so he might be able to stick around just as a 3rd string center or something like that. Jetty Osman, same sort of thing, same with Doug. So a lot of this team, it's set up to be, you know, around these younger guys, but there's still a lot of veterans here that probably don't have to stick around. So if we sort by age, you got 32, 31, 29, 28, 28, and then to me, really, it starts here with Zach. And then downwards, these are guys that'll probably be around for the longer period of time. Obviously, we can keep these guys for a little bit, but as I said, we'll probably try to move on from them. Now, system proficiency, we do still have Pop. I'm not going to fire him or force him to retire or anything like that, but if he does retire, we'll definitely go in a new direction. But he might want to stay to see the Wemby dynasty. You never know. So if we go over to the minutes, currently we're ending out with Charles Bassey. And there's no one else I'm really too worried about playing. Barlow, I mean, he can probably just go ahead and be in the G League this season. So he's currently actually a 2-way, but we will go ahead and assign him to the Spurs, to the Austin Spurs, pardon me. And then we have Sandro, let me try this, Mamu Kalashvili. I probably butchered that. Another guy I'm not too fussed about, Blake Wesley. That's fine. So he's a floor spacing slasher, which is actually the name of my play build, but just a 2-way, so that's fun. Now, what we might do here is if we go over to the power rankings, let's just see how low 2K has us. I'd imagine we'd be sort of towards the bottom. And just kidding, they have us at 14. I guess that's because of Vic, which I guess fair enough, but I don't think we're going to be that good. So, or at least I hope we're not going to be that good. If we go into prospect scouting, that is definitely not it. This is another thing they added, I think. I don't think in previous 2Ks you could scroll, you know, from the bottom and then go back to the top. So that's a nice quality of life improvement if that is the case. But if we go to prospect scouting, we have a decent draft class here. So Ron Holland, he's a small 4. We have Jeremy Sohan, but again, if we did a 4-5 with Vic and Jeremy, Ron Holland definitely wouldn't be the worst option, and if we are that bad, we can definitely add him to the board, but he's probably going to be #1 pick. Same with Matas Buzelis. I'd also be interested in DJ Wagner. Now, obviously, there he is, 2-way floor spacing slasher. Seems like a common build this year. We'll add him to our draft board. Obviously, as we go on, it'll ask us who it wants us to scout, but for right now, we're just going to do a little draft board here so we have sort of an idea of who we're after. So we do have, by the look of it, a lot of real players in here, at least in the top half of the draft. So if you guys can think of anyone you think would fit this team, please feel free to comment. I'll definitely add them to the list. Now, another thing I think I want to do is, so Zach Collins is cool and he's 25 years old. He's got a few badges, but I think I want to find an older sort of big who can go ahead and mentor Vic. So if we were to go into front office and then into free agents, is there anybody just sitting here? Now, I will note you can no longer see how much these guys are expecting in free agency. So that's fun. Thanks for taking that out, 2K. Probably add it back next year, right? But yeah, you can't see that. Now, I did change a few sliders in setting up this save. So hopefully the guys don't expect crazy amounts of money that shouldn't. I guess we'll see how we go. And then similar sort of stuff with injuries. So we're not just constantly dealing with that sort of stuff. Now, Busy is a defensive anchor. He's 31 years old. He has brick wall, back down, punisher, pogo stick. That doesn't help us a ton. I think Vic already has a majority of those. Jermichael Green has no badges. Willie Hernan Gomez is 29. Blake Griffin might be a decent option. So he has aerial wizard, break starter, masher, physical handles, relay passer. So maybe not. What we might have to do is actually wait until the deadline. Oh, there's Iggy. Cool. Love me some Iggy. We might wait until the deadline and then maybe package together a couple of our vets to see if we can just get an older center. He doesn't necessarily have to play, but I'm sure a team wouldn't mind having Devontae Graham or Campaign and Reggie Bullock in exchange for an older. For example, someone that comes to mind would be Marc Gasol before he retired. Someone like that who can still have a couple, maybe a shooting badges, maybe one defensive badge, and he can just mentor Vic. Let's go ahead and rebuild this rotation. We'll see what 2K wants to do. Currently running a 10-man. I'm cool with that. Vontae doesn't have to play. Jetty Osman doesn't have to play. Dougie doesn't have to play. Obviously, if injuries happen, we will keep an eye on that. And I do actually kind of want to play Blake Wesley, but I think the way it's going at the moment, he might just have to be an injury replacement guy. So we're going to go ahead and lower this slider here. I believe the left is towards younger players, so we'll do something like that. Hopefully that's the case. All of these settings look good to me. We currently have no injured players. And so here is our supposed governor, if you will, so Randy Lucas. So it sounds like he's the governor of the Spurs. He doesn't get too involved in the day-to-day running of the franchise. He's known to give his employees second, third, fourth chances. Rome wasn't built in the day. So he sounds like my type of guy. Sounds pretty relaxed. The team's image is an important factor to him, of course. So it looks like total budget 222, 133 for the players, 122.39 for the payroll, and then 15 for the staff. Okay, so that's good with me. Now with this obviously being a longer series, I do want to try to make this go as long as possible, maybe even in line with the real NBA season. But obviously once we've started here onwards, it's going to be a separate universe. So say Dame gets traded next week, he's probably still going to be in Portland in this series. And then we'll go through deadlines, and if we feel like teams need to make changes, we'll definitely do that. But I will probably sim, a few weeks, and then we'll decide one team we want to play each video, and you guys can definitely vote on that. We probably won't in this video just because it's more of an initial setup video than anything else. With that said, I don't know if this was here in the last 2K, probably was, but you got portfolio, you got trophy case as a GM. That's pretty cool. Contract wage, 500 VC for game played win and game played loss. So with that said, given it is a longer sort of term series, I will definitely go ahead and actually make the GM myself. All right, so we came up with something like that. I mean, it's pretty close. It is what it is. I'm not too fussed. But at the same time, they did add a proper editor in for the GM. I don't think that was always there. Just ignore my hair. I need a haircut. But the rest of this, you can actually give him badges, which is pretty cool. You can give them different team style, athleticism, shooting 3, 2-way. Heavily defense. I actually don't mind a lot of these, but I do sort of like a balanced playstyle there in that sense. Don't mind forwards. I probably prefer a little bit balanced. I definitely don't like grit and grind. Maybe give me perimeter centric. We can do something like that. So we'll go ahead and save our changes there. And so as I was saying, we do actually have a lot of free agents this coming off season. So we will have a bit of money to spend. We'll see how we want to go on free agency. I don't know if there's actually going to be anyone we want to spend on. So if we get upcoming free agents, you've got LeBron, too old, as sad as that is. Kawhi, too old. Harden, too old. PG, too old. All these guys are too old. Siakam, even he's too old. Tyrese Maxey is restricted, so is Paolo. Claxton, Walker, Kessler. So there are some guys. I mean, maybe we want to overpay for a vet if we think we're ready to take that next step and get better, but I'm not in any rush. And I was going to check jersey sales, see if Vic is here, but I guess that's not ready at the start of the season just yet. So we will keep an eye on that. And yeah, again, I thought I was crazy, but you can actually turn off the ticker. I had no idea. I don't know if this is a known feature or not, but if you push in L3 or the left stick on Xbox, you can see at the bottom, the text disappears. So we'll see if that actually speeds it up this year or not. I don't know. But right now, I'm not going to set up any conditional coaching. I was thinking about doing a garbage time one, but even in this case, a lot of our guys are young, so playing them in the close of games isn't that bad. And also, I don't know how many close games we'll actually be in, realistically. Playbook, we will see how we go if we want to make any changes there. You can see here's our draft board with our top guys so far. So the mock drafts at the moment have us at about 3 and 4, which could be about right. That Hornets pick, I'm not sure. We'd have to check the protections on that. So Zachary Risacher and Stephon Cassell. So they're both shooting guards. I don't overly feel the need for either of those. As I said, we still have our guy Keldon and Devin, so I don't necessarily feel like we need either of those guys. I wouldn't mind reaching on DJ Wagner if we are that high, or Isaiah Collier, because we know that they're both very good. That could be just a storyline thing, which I do have turned on for all drafts, by the way. So hopefully we get real drafts moving forward as well. That'd be really good by the time we get there. Got a big board here. So I think Sporting News is a new one. They still have 2KNBA.com. So we do, for this series, also want to familiarize ourselves with all the different options and menus. So for Team Intel, they have us at rebuilding. That is definitely good. So far, the training schedule looks like it's pre-filled, which is good. We don't have to worry about that. We can also worry about individual training here. So Vic, I actually probably want training as a power forward, focusing on either two-way or all around. I think I might go all around, but you guys let me know if that's the right choice or not. His load management, we can keep it low. Outside scoring for Devin Vassell is good. Same with Jeremy Sohan, and then Keldon Johnson, they have at offensive. That's fine too. Coach game plan and coaching system, we're all good. So that prep hub just has everything in it, which is good. Player mentorship, they've already got some guys being coached. Okay, so they have Reggie Bullock mentoring Vic. I mean, I guess for right now, that's okay. He's got some shooting badges. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Actually, I guess for right now, we'll make it Doug. He's a bit older, and he can actually teach Vic some stuff we want. So corner specialist, Claymore, and blinders sounds good. Go ahead and do that. And then Reggie Bullock can mentor Jeremy Sochan. Why not? And that's pretty cool. Just mucking around with the analytic tools. Shea was 4th in scoring. That is awesome. And it looks like they've got me last in the GM power ranking, so we're going to have to prove them wrong and make a big splash at some point. All right, so here is our assistant GM simplified screen. So I think the last thing we'll do in this episode before we wrap up is I'm just going to go over here, untouchables, obviously add Vic, and then on trading block, let's go ahead and throw some of these older guys on here. We can definitely add Reggie Bullock. We can add Doug McDermott and add Campaign, and we can add Devontae Graham. So I think so far those are the guys I would consider moving. And then I guess Jetty Osman too, but that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. He's still 28. So they all do have 2-star values at this point. So if someone even offers me a 2nd round pick, I'd probably consider that. So we have our first game of the season here against the Mavs. We won't simulate it, but let's just have a look. So obviously they got Luka, Kyrie fully healthy, Tim Hardaway, Grant Williams. Honestly, probably not the worst game to play in our first episode, next episode, our first gameplay episode. I will have it on 4-minute quarters to start with, and then simulated to inflate the minutes, at least until the playoffs, and then we'll probably do it a bit differently like the 2K23 series. But if you guys are happy with that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm happy to change it. And then just let me know which team you want us to play first. I think opening night Mavericks is actually probably a good option. And then we can do a couple of weeks at a time. So we play them, we simulate to November 5th, and then it'll be from November 6th until the 19th. You guys can pick another one of those teams to play. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this quick, just little introductory video, I guess, to the Spurs MyNBA series. Similar style video coming tomorrow for the Earth 2 NBA series. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you are interested to see how this plays out. But I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the game. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, peace out.